Now, I'm going to say this right off the bat, and I probably did not make it clear enough last night. For the second time this year, Stephanie White let somebody else shoot the final shot in crucial crunch time than Caitlin Clark. This is unacceptable, folks. It is absolutely unacceptable.
That was Stephanie White, the head coach of the Indiana Fever. And what she just did for the second time this season is going to cost this franchise everything. Make no mistake about it, Stephanie White publicly stripped the ball away from Caitlin Clark in crucial crunch time against the Valkyries, letting someone else shoot the final shot while your generational superstar watched from the perimeter. This is absolutely unacceptable, folks. It is a complete betrayal of the system. You either treat Caitlin Clark like Michael Jordan, or you admit you have no idea how to manage a once-in-a-lifetime talent.
You have to. Couple of other things I want to make very clear. Michaela Timpson would get more minutes on this team. She's athletic, she's younger, and frankly, she's making her shots. She's making her shots inside. She's making some of those layups. She's grabbing some of those rebounds. Aliyah Boston is not. Let's just be honest. It's not happening.
Look at the numbers because the tape does not lie. While Aliyah Boston continues to struggle on the block, blowing layups left and right and failing to secure crucial rebounds, younger and more athletic options like Kayla Thompson are being frozen out on the bench. Stephanie White is forcing a broken system onto a team that should be running and gunning. Whether it is the pressure of a massive contract or an underlying lower leg injury, the reality is clear. Aliyah Boston is not getting the job done, and the coaching staff is completely blind to it. But that's not even the worst part. Watch what happens next.
And then you have the curious case of Kelsey Mitchell. Now, Kelsey Mitchell is actually, technically speaking, she's actually averaging more points this year than she was last year. 21 points a game. But I can tell you, I had just pulled her stats up, and she's got less. Let me see if I can just pull this up right here. She is down basically a full rebound off of last year, and she's down a full assist off of last year.
Let me tell you something about Kelsey Mitchell. On paper, she is averaging 21 points a game, but her all-around game has completely cratered. She is down a full rebound, a full assist, and half a steal from last season. Her defensive effort has noticeably fallen off a cliff. When the ball goes into Kelsey Mitchell's hands, the ball dies. It is dribble, 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 and the offense is over. Yet Stephanie White keeps running the offense through a stagnant backcourt instead of letting Caitlin Clark dynamically cook with hot hands like Raven Johnson. The fans are completely furious, and they have every right to be.
It is a wrap. So, some blowback from fans. Worst coach in the league. Stephanie White is taking some shrapnel because a lot of people are still confused by what she's trying to do, not calling timeouts when she should, when the other team's on a run, strange substitutions. How about being partly responsible for bringing in Monique Billings? There's some complicitness there. Not just the front office, she's part of it. I mean, what are we doing here, folks?
The blowback on Stephanie White is reaching a fever pitch. Fans across the country are calling her the worst coach in the league, and the shrapnel she is taking is 100% deserved. She is failing to call timeouts when the opposition goes on a massive run. Her substitutions make absolutely zero basketball sense, and she is directly complicit in roster decisions like bringing in Monique Billings. You cannot make this up, folks. 3 winnable games this season, and 3 times Stephanie White has actively taken the ball out of her franchise players' hands. How many times did Phil Jackson draw up a final play for Rick Fox or Derek Fisher instead of Kobe Bryant? It is absolute madness. And what comes next is the moment that broke this whole thing wide open.
The Brick Awards are back. How the F do you still miss wide open 2-pointers is beyond me. I said it last night. If we're going to have tough conversations about Angel Reese, we got to have them about Aliyah Boston. Because she's blowing layups left and right out there. And a couple of those had that same elbow flailing look to him that Angel Reese has got. High IQ coach will always take winning shots over the game-tying shots in a road game. This coach is time and again outcoached by a newbie. What a waste. Clown.
Make no mistake. Publicly stripping the ball away from Caitlin Clark when the game is on the line is a direct demotion of your superstar. This high IQ coach is being outcoached time and time again by rookies and newcomers, missing wide-open two-pointers, blowing easy layups with flailing elbows that look exactly like Angel Reese. It is a total clown show. Stephanie White stood there on the sideline during a critical road game and watched her team collapse into a jump ball when she had a timeout right in her pocket. Use your thick skull and call the timeout. The fans are screaming for her termination, and honestly, the front office might not have a choice.
Tough loss. I miss our core. I love our core, but I miss having Natasha Howard. Look, there's a lot of us. Can you imagine we're actually at a point where we're bringing up Natasha Howard right now? And I said it yesterday in my video. Natasha Howard's playing at a near MVP level this season. Where was that last year under Stephanie White? And as slow as she was up and down the court, we miss her length on the court right now.
The frustration in Indianapolis is so deep that fans are actually longing for the days of Natasha Howard, who is currently playing at a near MVP level for another franchise. Where was that length and elite production last year under Stephanie White? The coaching staff completely wasted her talent, running a slow, agonizing pace up and down the court. Now the Fever are starved for size and defensive presence because the current system is totally broken. The administrative incompetence is matching the sideline ignorance because the real story isn't just what happened tonight. It's what this means for everything coming next.
Raven played great but got the rookie treatment. She should have been in at the end of the game. I'd have had Raven Johnson in there instead of Kelsey Mitchell. I'm just keeping it real right now. I mean, what are we doing? What are we doing? Stephanie White is such a terrible effing coach. Shit is terrible. Wow. Stephanie White effing useless. The only person at fault for this loss is Steph White. She took Raven out over a foul and the game went down the drain afterwards.
Raven Johnson played her heart out, scoring at will and proving she belongs in the closing lineup. But she got the classic rookie treatment from a coach who panics under pressure. Taking Johnson out over a single foul completely flushed the game down the drain. The entire blame for last night's loss lands squarely on the shoulders of Stephanie White. Even with terrible refereeing, this team wins the ballgame if they simply play the Clark system instead of the absolute stupidity we witnessed on the floor.
Guys, you want to know, and I brought this up before, why I don't talk about the refs a lot? Because you got to win the game regardless of how shitty the refs are. I mean, look, this league doesn't exactly have a great track record of referees and officiating. You know, going into the game, you're playing the other team and the officiating. You know it. You can't use it as a crutch or an excuse. You got to win the ball game. Maybe I'm old school that way. Yeah. There were some really, really wild calls all the way around. It's not an excuse. Go win the ball game.
I have said it a million times. You cannot use bad officiating as a crutch or an excuse. This league has a notoriously terrible track record with referees, and you know going into a hostile arena that you have to beat the opposing team and the officials. You have to go win the ball game regardless. A competent head coach recognizes who has the hot hand and rides them until the final buzzer. And when you have a super-duper star like Caitlin Clark, you put the ball in her hands at the end of the game, period. Every sports talk radio host from coast to coast knows this fundamental rule of basketball. And here's the one thing nobody is talking about. The biggest consequence of all is still coming.
Notice your hot hands. Part of being a good coach, notice your hot hands and ride them. And if you got a superstar, a super-duper star like Caitlin Clark, you put the ball in her hands at the end of the game. Look, everybody's talking about how great this team is. Really? Because if Caitlin Clark does not take over a game, and if unless they're playing a shitty team, this team isn't winning. It's not. Tell me what you think. Peace.
When a head coach repeatedly tells her team through her actions that her superstar isn't trusted to run the show, the entire locker room fractures. Let that sink in. Everyone is talking about how great this roster is. But let's get real. If Caitlin Clark does not completely take over a game, this team cannot even beat a bottom-tier opponent. Stephanie White's refusal to let her superstar cook is actively destroying the chemistry of this franchise. Now, I want to hear from you. Is Stephanie White the absolute worst coach in the league, or is the front office equally to blame for this disaster? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, hit that subscribe button, and don't miss our next deep dive. Peace out.